Hi reading buddies, it's Maria the Scary Story Lady, and I've got another scary tale from you from Night Frights collection by J.B. Stamper. This story is called Good Luck Charm. Raymond slumped down in the back seat of the car. He didn't even have to look out the window to know what they were passing. Huge spiny cactuses, tumbleweeds rolling in the wind, and miles after miles of desert. "Where are we going, Dad?" Raymond's sister Felita asked from beside him. Then she turned to Raymond and rolled her eyes. "Same old place," her father answered with a grunt from the driver's seat. "You like seeing it again." "Right," Raymond mouthed to Felita. They were both bored with going to the old mining town. It was the only place their father wanted to drive to when he got a day off from work. They lived in an apartment building in the city. Just once, Raymond wished they could go somewhere exciting. Their father switched on the radio and began to hum along with the music. Raymond hunched farther down in his seat and shut his eyes. He could see the mining town in his mind, a few straggly shops, a gas station, but mostly it was a ghost town now. Nobody wanted to live there anymore. It was no wonder. "Think you'll see that old woman again selling things?" Felita asked. Raymond opened his eyes and looked at her. "I don't know, but I brought my money along." "Don't waste it on her," Felita said. "That's just old weird stuff she has." Raymond shut his eyes again and started to think about what the old woman had spread out on her blanket the last time they were in town. He didn't know why, but he wanted something from her, and today he planned on getting it. Raymond woke up as the car jolted to a stop. Looking around, he saw they had arrived at the old town. "You kids can walk around," their father said, turning around. "I'm going to talk to Miguel over at the store." Raymond and Felita watched their father walk with a springy step to the old store where his friend Miguel worked. He would talk there for 2 or 3 hours, then they would drive home again. "Come on, let's stretch our legs," Felita said. "I'm going to run up the hill that looks over the town." "Go ahead," Raymond said. "I'll roam around here." He wasn't an athlete like Felita. She took off down the empty road at a fast jog. Raymond got out of the car and started to walk down the dusty street. Most of the buildings were vacant. The old clapboard was peeling paint. Signs dangled crookedly from rusting nails. It was a ghost town, all right. Raymond got the chills walking through it sometimes. Raymond turned to the left down the second alley he came to. That was where she had been last time. The old woman selling carved turquoise, strange-shaped rocks she found in the desert, and other odd things. His heart beat a little faster when he saw her there sitting in the sun with a blanket spread out in front of her. "Hi," Raymond said as he walked up to her. The woman turned her wrinkled face up to him and stared at him with deep brown eyes, but she didn't say anything. Raymond squatted down on the ground and looked over the objects on the blanket. He was glad Felita wasn't along. She said the woman had strange things that were full of superstition. Raymond picked up an animal skull that had been polished by years of being out in the desert. He turned it over and over in his hands. "Coyote," the woman said to him, "full of power, it will bring you strength." Raymond laid the skull back down and fingered a snakeskin. It was scaly and seemed strangely alive to his touch. The woman reached down and picked up a small piece of turquoise. She put it in Raymond's hands. Raymond shook his head. He wasn't looking for a gift. He was looking for something to carry with him, something that would bring him luck. On the far corner of the blanket, he saw something he'd never noticed before. It was a rabbit's foot. As he reached for it, the woman grabbed his hand. "What's wrong?" Raymond asked. "I want to see it." The woman seemed to hesitate. Then she let go of Raymond's hands. He reached down and picked up the paw, which had gray fur and small claws at the end. It felt warm in his palm. "How much is it?" Raymond asked. "I can't sell it to you," the woman said. "It would be bad luck for me." "But I want it," Raymond said. The old woman picked up the paw and put it in Raymond's hand. "Take it," she muttered, "but be careful." Raymond stood up, holding the paw in one hand and stroking its fur with the other. He looked again at the woman and then ran down the alley to the main street. His father and Miguel were sitting on the steps of the store where Miguel worked. "What do you have there?" his father asked Raymond. "A rabbit's foot," Raymond said, holding out the foot for them to see. "It's going to be my good luck charm." Miguel's face screwed up when he saw the foot. "Did you get that from the old woman?" he asked. Raymond nodded yes. "You should throw it away then," Miguel said. "She practices magic. That foot might still have the animal spirit in it." Raymond looked down at the paw. He wasn't going to throw it away. He looked at Miguel and shrugged and then walked away. On the way back to the city in the car, Raymond turned the paw over and over in his hands. "That's gross," Felita said. "I wouldn't carry around part of a dead animal. Anyway, maybe the animal didn't want its foot cut off. Did you ever think of that? Raymond looked down at the rabbit's foot. Suddenly it scared him. Maybe there was a reason the old woman had refused to take money for it. Maybe he should throw it away. But instead, he pushed it down deep into his jeans pocket so Felita couldn't see it anymore. Raymond started to close his eyes, but the sudden screech of the car's tires made him jump in his seat. He looked out the front window and saw a huge jackrabbit bounding across the road in front of the car. A second later, there was a loud grinding crash, and everything went black. "Raymond! Raymond! Are you all right?" It was Felita's voice calling him out of the darkness that had drowned him. Raymond opened his eyes. Felita and his father were standing over him. Both of them looked very sad and very concerned. There were bright lights all around. "What happened?" Raymond asked. "Where am I?" "You're in a hospital," his father said. "We had an accident. It was that rabbit. It was crazy. It jumped in front of the car over and over again." "It was so scary," Felita said, her voice shaking. "It didn't leave after the wreck. Dad and I were okay, but you were lying on the ground, and the rabbit, it came up and pulled something out of your jeans pocket." Raymond felt a shudder of fear travel through him. Then he looked away from their faces to the bottom of the bed. One leg was propped up and wrapped in bandages. He tried to wiggle his toes, but there was nothing to wiggle. Nothing at all. "That rabbit foot," his father said, "you should have thrown it away. It was bad luck." "I'd say it was bad luck." Now that was a creepy story. Do you have a good luck charm? If you had a rabbit's foot, would you keep it, or would you have thrown it away? I don't know what I would have done, but after reading this story, I think I might have tossed it out the window. Anyways, see you next time for another spooky tale from Night Frights Collection, J.B. Stamper. Good night.